Hi there, my name is Chantal and I'm the Mental Health Academic at WA Centre for Rural Health, and I'm also a mental health nurse. My presentation today is on emotional regulation. This is quite an important topic, especially in these times of uncertainty and times of change during COVID, during this pandemic. We can feel some emotions that we're unfamiliar with or uncomfortable with. And this presentation is going to hopefully give you some tips on how to manage these kind of unwanted emotions that we might experience. So to give you a definition of emotional regulation, it's a bit of a buzzword at the moment. It's a sense of the ability to monitor, to evaluate, to really kind of understand what the emotion is and understand its intensity and why it's happening. So this we're going to explore over the next few moments to really start to understand the emotions in our body and how it affects us. Note that it's really important to have a full range of emotions. That's healthy. So to experience anger and sadness is actually positive. And we don't just want the happy, feel-good emotions. A full range of emotions is actually considered very healthy. So let's have a look at emotions. The main emotions are happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. Generally, our emotions impact how we feel and then our behaviour. So let me give you an example. Will Smith and Chris Rock, okay? Will Smith is sitting down, he hears the joke about his wife. Initially he was laughing, then he didn't find it funny. What happened? Anger came over him, so he sensed anger. Then he had a feeling of, I'm not happy, I'm feeling really mad. Then the behaviour happens. So then he got up and went, bah, yeah? So it's all interlinked. However, I'm going to differentiate between emotions and feelings because they do differ slightly. Before we go into the feelings, let's just explore cultural implications when we look at emotions. So different cultures express emotions differently. So in some cultures, it's actually frowned upon or shameful if you show anger. So in this slide here, you'll see that we've got a very angry face, and then you've got another person from different culture who is also angry. However, is not showing it. Doesn't mean that they don't experience it, they just choose not to act, okay? So when we look at emotions, we think about healthy versus unhealthy kind of emotions, and remembering that all emotions are normal. But when we feel an emotion that is unpleasant, such as anger or sadness, a lot, then that can lead us to kind of chronic, unhealthy anxiety or sadness, depression, etc. When we experience emotions also, we feel a sense of, should I express this or should I not? And it's okay to express emotions, but in a healthy way. You are not your emotions. You are more than your emotions. Your emotions happen to you, but we can choose, you have control to act, okay? We can also choose to bottle things up or to explode. So we can, if we have these uneasy emotions and we bottle things up for too long, then things can get out of control. We can either implode or explode. In certain situations, it's regarded as good, if you like, to keep our emotions in check. Let's say you're at work, you're at a meeting, and the meeting goes way over time. Inside, you're really angry. But if you want to keep your job, you're probably not going to go, stop, talking, let's get on with things. You're just going to kind of just, bottle things up. But it's only for a short time, and it's for a good purpose, yeah? But long-term, bottling things up is probably not the best way to deal with things. We're going to look at that a little bit more in a moment. Emotions versus feelings. Emotions, you can actually put a sound to an emotion that you can't really with a feeling. We'll look at that in a moment. But with an emotion, it precedes a sound. So, for example, anger, you'd be like, "Argh," yeah? You've got sadness, where you might cry. Happiness, laughing, disgust, yuck, surprise, ah. So that's a good tip to kind of identify our emotions. Let's have a look now about the emotional response. The emotional response is what happens in our brain. Okay, so our emotions are innate. That means that we're born with them. So you know how little babies, they know how to be happy, they know how to be sad pretty much straight away because it's part of their body, their mind, it's nature. It's instinctive and it's subconscious. We experience these because we are born with this kind of emotions, okay? So emotions originate in the amygdala, and you'll see from the slide here that the amygdala, where the amygdala is located, and that's in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. So emotions are basically neurochemical reactions from a stimulus or experience. So you experience something in a situation or event, and then the brain kind of makes sense of that, and then you get this sense of emotion come up. The difference between an emotion and a feeling is that a feeling is something that you can actually say the words, I feel sleepy, I feel hungry, embarrassed, etc. And an emotion originates from the neocortical region of the brain, and that's where your thinking and kind of logical aspects of your brain kind of kick in, all right? So it's a different area to where the emotions are in your brain. And feelings are mental experiences of body states, and they happen as the brain makes sense of the emotions. So you have the emotion, and then the feeling comes afterwards. Let me explain that a little bit more. So you'll see in the slide here a tree. The branches of the tree show the big emotions, and then the leaves will show the feelings. So here we've got anger, and then you've got offended and annoyed. Sadness, you've got loneliness. So remembering, emotions affect our behaviour. So we've got the primary emotion, such as anger. Then we might feel annoyed at somebody. Then the behaviour would be an argument or shouting at somebody. So hopefully you can see the link between the emotion, the feeling, and the behaviour. So how do we actually keep our emotions in check? Emotional regulation, as I said before, is a bit of a buzzword at the moment, and this is basically the ability to manage our emotions in a healthy way. There's healthy and unhealthy ways. So let's look at some good ways to manage our emotions. Firstly, it's about understanding the emotion. What's actually happening to me right now? Awareness is a vehicle for change. So you can choose to respond rather than react. Similar to the situation with Will Smith. At that moment when anger came about, he reacted. Whereas maybe he could have taken a few deep breaths and have chosen a different way to react. Okay? Maybe at that moment, suppressing his feelings might have been a bit more appropriate, because thereafter, many repercussions occurred. We look at emotional intelligence, and this is about becoming aware of your emotions as they happen. So in this slide here, you'll see what we discussed before about that self-awareness. It's the knowledge of your own thoughts and feelings and motivations. So what's happening to you? What does the emotion look like in my body? Is it I'm getting tingles in my belly, or am I getting flushed, or what is happening in my body? Then we've got the self-regulation. So, okay, I am feeling this emotion of anger. I'm not going to act on this. I'm going to choose to kind of understand it better and react in a kind of a better way, respond more appropriately. So then it helps you to understand others, to appreciate others that might be going through the same thing, or that might be in the situation that is causing you to feel that sensation, that emotion. Then comes the decision making. Okay, I feel this emotion. What can I do about it? What's the best way that kind of keeps in line with my values? How can I act and behave right now? And then that helps, obviously, with your social skills, being able to create and maintain healthy relationships. So again, I'm referring to Will Smith there. If he had reacted differently, then maybe people in the community might not think ill of him. Let's have a look now at some self-soothing tips. Again, that emotional regulation is about doing things for ourselves so that we can manage our emotions better. And there's some different categories here, such as acceptance, mindfulness, and exercise. When we look at acceptance, we look at not kind of attaching to the emotion, just saying, okay, well, it's there, I understand it's there, and I'm not going to act on it. You accept it, you sit with it, and you choose to, again, respond rather than react. Self-prep talks, self-talk or prep talks are a really good one as well. It's like, I've got this, I can do this. Yes, I'm feeling this emotion, but it's okay. It's normal. I'm going through, separation, or I'm going through a really hard time. I've just lost my job. It's okay for me to feel sad. This will pass. I'm okay with it. Let me do things that, make me feel better. Seek support from friends, family, people that lift you up, that make you feel good. And then we've got mindfulness. So those mindfulness skills are really important to help you to ground yourself and to be really present and not get snowballed in the emotion. So just going, oh yeah, there I am. I'm feeling that anger sensation again. Let me just take a few deep breaths. Let me try and manage this. Unitasking, one focus. This is a really important tip here, is rather than look at many different things, just focus on one thing at a time. And okay, so this is my one emotion here. I'm feeling anger, or I'm feeling sad. Let me deal with why I'm feeling angry. Why am I feeling sad? Okay, because sometimes we're in a bubble and the emotions can feel quite overwhelming. So one thing at a time. And sometimes looking at the bigger picture, or asking a friend or a family member, somebody that you trust, for their view on things can be really helpful. Breathing exercises. are great because they help you to really relax. They help you to kick in your natural body's relaxation response. So breathing is great. Exercise. Exercise releases endorphins and they work a little bit like morphine, so they make you feel really good and more relaxed. So any kind of exercise is a good one. Yoga, if that floats your boat. For others, it might be quite irritating because it's too slow, so you might want to do some running or boxing, whatever exercise is good for you, for your body. All right, then we have the stop technique. This is a really simple technique that you can choose to use throughout your day and will help you to put in place all that we've looked at during this presentation. It's very simple, STOP, the acronym for stop, okay? And what we'll do is we'll do this together now. So let's say you're having a bit of a bad day and you're going to implement the stop technique. So you stop what you're doing. You take a breath. You take a breath on purpose. It marks the intention that you're going to do this exercise, this mindfulness exercise, to bring you back into balance, to bring you back into the present. O, observe your thoughts. What's going on? Where is my focus? How am I feeling? Yeah? Take it like a snapshot of you in that present time. Then we proceed. That means, okay, you can go about your day, but am I going to respond or am I going to choose to react? And, you know, what is the best course of action for me to do right now in this moment? Am I feeling tense? Why am I feeling tense? What can I do to relax? And this stop, you can use this throughout your day. It literally just takes 30 seconds. Remember, it's like a snapshot of how you're feeling in that moment. You're capturing that kind of emotional intelligence, like, how am I feeling? What can I do to make myself feel better? Lastly, dealing with big emotions can be tough. Yeah. So sometimes our emotions are so intense, we feel completely overwhelmed. And it's a good idea in that instance to actually seek professional help. Professional help can be going to see a GP, going to see a nurse, Healthy WA or Health Direct. Generally, these big intense emotions are so much so that we don't have the ability to calm down. And this might be caused by trauma, mental health illnesses such as clinical depression and bipolar. So it's really important to seek medical advice and intervention when we are feeling that these emotions are not manageable. I hope this presentation was useful for you, that you got some good tips on managing your emotions and regulating your emotions. My name's Chantal. Thank you for listening.